record holder for the most yards ever passing in a single game, Rohan Davey. Emmitt Smith joins us in studio.
It's the first time I played in such a place that had that much noise.
Jacques, throw a rock and you'll hit a three-star cornerback in Louisiana.
Well, it's our pleasure right now to be joined by LSU's athletic director, Verge Ausberry. We're in Tiger Stadium, the Lawton Room. Verge, great seeing you.
Great seeing you too, Jacques.
Thanks for your time today.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, you've had this position, I think it was in this room right here next to us. They introduced you on Halloween morning, and you've been on the job about 3 months now. How's it going?
It's going well. You know, it's been a race. It's been fast-paced, but it's been going well. You know, Jacques, I have a great staff and great people, and working with great people make the job that much easier, that much fun. We work hard. We have a lot of fun.
You've always been in the big circle with LSU for over 2 decades. I don't know if I've ever thought to myself, Verge wanted to be the athletic director or was a candidate or whatever. Did this kind of come out of left field? Was this something that you had planned for? Did you think it would happen?
No, there's no plans to it. You know, when it came up and the opportunity came up, you know, all the time there's chaos and changes going on, there's opportunity. I was given the opportunity to come in and help the department, to find a football coach to stabilize the department. That's what I wanted to do. LSU is my school. LSU is the school that I attended, so it's my alma mater. I was just going to do what the board and the president wanted me to do to make this place good.
You always speak of Skip Bertman, highly of Skip Bertman being around him, and I did kind of feel like there are some parallels when Skip became the AD. I'm not sure how many people expected that would happen. And I remember Skip saying they needed me. You know, they kind of came to me. Maybe I wasn't the #1 choice or what they thought initially, but this is the best choice at the time. And I kind of feel I heard that too. We needed Verge. We needed him to step up and do this, and you are doing it.
Yeah, you know, Skip was the best and the greatest. Not only a great coach, but a great person to help us, mature us. Just look at his staff, the guys who work for him. You know, we all became very successful in the world of athletics. What Skip taught us, though, is how to deal with people and how to deal with coaches. And that was important because it taught us that, you know, we're not the boss. We're here to work with people, to help people get better, and also help the institution. How do we help LSU as a whole get better? How do we help them, the president's office and the chancellor's office, recruit students, recruit faculty? And the better LSU is, the better LSU athletic department would be.
Skip was obviously a coach, so he connected with coaches. He knew what they needed. He knew when they were struggling what they needed to do. He knew about building fan bases. He talked to D.D. Bro about building gymnastics. You see what they are now, packing the building. And so, and he went to a lot of sporting events, and I think that's some early feedback I'm getting on you, is that Verge goes to basketball games. He'll be going to baseball games. He'll be going to softball games. It's important for you to attend events and be there.
You know, when you look at the athletic department, there's student athletes, and then there are the coaches. And that's who I'm here to support. So I need to be at all of their events. I need to be at their functions, those type of things. It shows the leadership that we have as a department. That's something I tell our team. We need to go to all the events, go to practices, go visit our student athletes to let them know who we are and our purpose here. And our purpose is to support them. It also helps the coaches to realize that, hey, look, my athletic supervisor, my athletic director, they're here. They're visiting with us. They're helping us, you know, get over those rough days and those humps. And that's what we have to do, support. We're the support staff, really, for the whole department.
The student athlete is so much different than when you played here. You know, there was pressure to win and whatnot, but with social media now and these young people feeling like they have to live up to something on the field, off the field, you know, in your days, they would just say, if you're down or depressed, suck it up, you know, but mental health is important for them.
Yeah, mental health is very important. You know, Shelley Mondex runs that division for us, Ms. Lakeitha Poole and her staff. They do a great job, and that's very important to me also. I come from the area of academics, academic center student for athletes when I started, and it's very important to us that these young people, when they come in, when I'm interviewing people, talking to people, I always ask them, why do you want to be involved with athletics? And a lot of them say they're fans, they're passionate, they've been around their whole lives. But really, though, it's to help young people become better when they come in here. We become that teacher. A teacher is very important. I never want people to forget that I work in LSU athletic department. We are educators, we are teachers, and we're here to make the students that we have better people when they leave.
So Lane Kiffin, he's been on the job since December the 1st. We saw him speaking at a Baton Rouge event today. Said that Nick Saban told him, if you turn down the LSU job, you will regret it, and it's the top job in America. How is he doing so far, Lane Kiffin?
He's doing very well. He hit the ground running. Signed top portal class, and not only top portal class, but top kids in the state of Louisiana. The number 1 defensive tackle, the number 2 defensive tackle. Signed a great quarterback, 3 quarterbacks really in this portal class, and putting together a great team and a great staff. It's very fast paced. He came in right in the top of recruiting in the portal, but just a great ambassador for what we want to do here at LSU. He understands the program. He understands what we are down here about winning, the traditions, the philosophy that we have. And now he's just trying to put the team together. He's putting the team together, a great team, but now the chemistry. And I think he's the person for the job to get us to where LSU needs to be.
Yeah, and it's simplistic to say it, but it means so much. He's been in the SEC. He's been in the belly of the beast. He's been on the opposing sideline in Tiger Stadium when he said he felt like it was me against the world. Now he's got Tiger Stadium in his corner, the best venue in college football.
We're one of the top brands in football right now. We ranked number 4 as the biggest brand in athletics. It's one of the best things to be at LSU right now in this athletic department. We have a lot of great things going. We have a lot of great coaches across the board. You talk about the Kim Mulkeys, you talk about the Jay Johnsons, the Jay Clarks, the Dennis Schaefers. We have national championship coaches across the board here. And he fits that model. He fits the where we want to be. He is the kind of coach who understands what it is to coach in the SEC. He understands the people here in Louisiana.
Like Jay Johnson is consumed with baseball, Lane Kiffin is consumed with football. He'll talk to you about different things, but talk to him about football. That's what he wants to talk about.
He's a football guy. I get texts from Lane at 4:30 in the morning. And sometimes I'm leaving the office late, and sometimes I'm leaving an event late, and 11 o'clock, and they're still working. And he works hard, and he lives in that building. You go there today, he has no shoes on, walking with socks and shorts and a T-shirt, and they're working, and that's what we want here at LSU.
He said in his introductory press conference, someone asked him about what did Verge tell you that really sold you on the job, and Verge said, "I'll let you do your job and I'll get out of the way." And that is kind of funny, but at the same time, yeah, that's exactly what he was looking for.
That's my motto with pretty much all the coaches and the staff. This is LSU. It's not a training ground. When you come to LSU, if you work in LSU in any department, you have to be ready to go. And so my job is to help, to support. My job is to make sure you're getting everything you need, the resources to be successful. But my job is also to let you do your job. It's no different from my executive team or any coach we have. We talk to all our coaches. How can I help you get better? How can I help you to win? How can I help your program be great? Well, that's my job as athletic director, not to intervene, not to say, you didn't run this play. If I'm talking to AD, talking to coaches about what plays you run, then I have the wrong coaches. My executive team, if I'm telling one of them how to do their jobs, then I have the wrong person. When we hire you here, we expect you to be the best. And this is LSU. This is one of the top departments in the country. So everybody here is high quality, and they get evaluated, but they all know their jobs and what it takes to make this place win.
His interaction with fans, how do you think he's going to connect with the fan base? Now, obviously, people say just win. Now, winning is not 8-4 anymore, right? There were a lot of years that Charlie Mack would go 7-3 and people would be happy, but now it just feels like almost 10-2 is the floor.
Expectations at LSU are high in all sports, and especially football, and we like that. I always say the worst thing you could have is apathy in a program, in any program you have. So he understands that. He's been around big programs, and I think he will win and be successful here. Expectations are you take it one game at a time. You win one game, then the second game, the third game, no matter who you're playing. And if you notice some of the things that I've learned from the great coaches, from the Bill Owensberger, from the Nick Sabans to the Skip Bertmans, it's every game, every day, you get better. And that's his motto. Every day we're going to take it one game at a time. We're going to get better. We're going to start, with spring practice. I think what you're going to see, Jacques, is a more physical team. I think we lost some of that. You're going to see more drills to make this team more physical. And then you have to bring the chemistry of the team together. But you have to remember, you have a lot of different players. You have the freshman players, you have the current team, and you have really the free agents, we call them, the kids in the portal. And now you have to blend that all together in the chemistry to make that team work. We watched Indiana last night on TV. Just the chemistry on that team. It's an older team, it's a mature team, how well they play together, how smart they are, and things of that nature. That's what we want to see here at LSU.
I remember seeing Coach Kiffin when he was the head coach at Ole Miss speak at SEC Football Media Days one year, and he said, is this much turnover good for the sport? Maybe not, but these are the rules of engagement. This is what's going on. And so like you just said, roughly 40 guys out of the portal. Your high school class is knocking on 20 guys. That's 60 new guys, right, that you're bringing in. And spring football seems like it's going to be very important, especially on the offensive side of the ball, for these guys to get to know each other, the timing, new offensive system, all those different things.
It's going to be more than just spring football. It's going to be after spring football, and really before. I walked through the building the other day, and there was about 5 of our receivers in there already doing drills and working out. And the receiver coach told me this is his 3rd time in the building. So yes, there's a lot of transition going on. We bring in 40 new players, but as you watch his teams, you watch that there won't be this many portal guys next year. You get less and less. You get the core of his team here, and they'll stay here. That's the good programs and the programs you win. You see programs every year, 40 guys in and out. Usually it's not going to be a good program, and usually you're going to be up and down and not consistent. So we want to build consistency here, and that comes from recruiting. There's great recruiting in the state of Louisiana. You don't have to do what you do at some other schools. You have to go out and bring everybody in. Here in Louisiana, there's great football players. I think we will continue to recruit there, 20, 40, and then your roster build up, and then you fill in the holes where you need to fill them in with the transfer portal.
Well, I've heard people say, well, you're no longer trying to build a program, you're building a team year to year. But maybe like you said, I certainly think fans wouldn't mind players playing here for 3 years and getting to know them a little bit better, as opposed to, no offense to the one-year player who's here and gone, but it's nice for the fans to connect with players and get to know them a little bit.
Look at the Final Four teams the last 3 years. You look at their rosters. If you go back to their rosters, the Ohio State roster, the Notre Dame roster, the Penn State roster, the Indiana roster, the Miami roster last night, those young men been there for a while. They've been in the program. And now they fill it in. Do they get a back as a quarterback? Do you get a top quarterback in there? I think Indiana signed a top quarterback this year. But really the core of that team and the core of the men on that team, they have been there from year after year after year. University of Georgia, the same way. When you look at the playoff teams, they're pretty much consistent. Not a lot of ins and outs in those programs.
So perhaps one thing that's been surprising to people through this process is how much money LSU has, their boosters have, the state of Louisiana has. I was always told, hey, we're Louisiana, we're broke, we don't have Fortune 500 companies, we can't pay out Brian Kelly in year 4 of a 10-year contract, but you've been able to do that. Where was all this money coming from?
It's bigger than money. It's about the brand, the LSU brand. And we have donors who give $1,000, $500. All of our donors are special, no matter what level they give at. And we work hard around here to promote that brand. And that brand, it brings a lot with it. And it's not all about, we're going to make all this money or we're losing all this money here. Now, we have to be consistent and look at the budget all the time and make sure that we're in the right place with our budget. But what we do around here in the LSU brand is so big that it helps that for us.
What's it like to try to pay for the 40 guys you just got and so forth?
It's very expensive. And, you talk about that brand, you're talking about, we have 31,000 people over requesting tickets this year. Corporate sponsorships are up 30%, fundraising it up. So all the things that we set out to do to bring income and bring revenue into our department, that's what we do. We also got to look at ways now in the athletic department of, where do we cut at? Where do we budget at? Could everything be equal like it used to be? Those are the things that we have to look back and study on and see, where are we as a department, but also generate new revenue, and that's important. I'll be very involved. You talk about Clay and Zach, some of our fundraisers here. You talk about, Tiger Athletic Foundation, what they do. I'm going to be very much a part of that. I'm going to be an AD that work very closely with those groups to keep generating revenue for our department. Because every time I cut, you only could cut so much. You have, buyouts and things of that nature. But the most important part is how we generate and find new ways to generate revenue. And those are going to be the survivors here. NIL budgets keep going up. They're not going down until we get some type of antitrust put in place, which we don't have yet. We've been working very closely with Congressman Scalise and the Speaker of the House Johnson about how we get something in place in Congress to help us offset these things and some type of cap in there that can protect us all in college athletics.
So that's an update right there, because we had heard there were 15,000 new season ticket holder requests. So now that's doubled. You say it's up to 31,000 now.
That's right.
And then the businesses that want to be a part of this, that want to attach their name to Lane Kiffin and LSU football.
That's it. And like I said, we have a brand as strong as we have, winning programs as strong as we have, great coaches like we have. People want to be a part of LSU. And, some people like the head coach, some people don't like a coach. And that's the positions that we hold. But the bottom line, though, everybody's excited about LSU. And I always tell people there's no really bad publicity. We've been on the TV all through these playoffs. Lane Kiffin's name has been mentioned. LSU football has been mentioned. That's a good place to be.
Well, you've had, I guess, back-to-back polarizing head coaches. Brian Kelly, some people didn't like him for whatever reason, and the same goes for Lane Kiffin. But you and I were talking about people like Bobby Knight earlier. You think the Indiana fans cared if people dislike Bobby Knight? No, we're winning, and we're doing well, and he's our guy, right? So,
as long as the coach does well off the field and on the field, he's one of us. He's one of LSU now. And as I tell people, I tell coaches, not everybody gonna like you. And too many people get caught up on social media. What's somebody saying social media? Uses the same person over and over again, using different names. I say, stop worrying about the social media aspect of it, okay?
Yeah.
You do your job, you win, you hold that championship trophy up at the end of the day, and you know what? People are gonna like you. People don't like greatness. People don't like all Michael Jordan. People don't like Bill Belichick. People didn't like Nick Saban. People didn't like, Pat Summitt, Kim Mulkey, Skip Bertman. Winners are always attacked. And you know what? It's good to be, if you're winning, that's a good place to be.
when we were growing up, nobody said, I can't stand those Los Angeles Clippers. I hate
That's right. Those are the Lakers, the Boston Celtics, or the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the Twitter thing and so forth, you want to listen to your fans to an extent. But I was thinking today, if the New Orleans Saints if the New Orleans Saints people listen to all the tweets about this Tyler Shuck's a bum and why'd you draft him and so forth, well, he's turning out, looks like he's going in the right direction, right? So sometimes you make decisions, you see things, you know things in your heart, and you know maybe in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes it's not going to work, and to ignore the noise on Twitter when, Lane Kiffin hasn't signed 50 guys the first day of the transfer portal.
Jacques, the great ones stay focused, the great coaches. Nick Saban called it the rat poison. Skip Bertman say, you just can't listen to everyone out there. When you have a plan and you know what you're going to do, stick to the plan. People told us that we couldn't get a great coach here after everything went down. And we got the best coach, the number one coach on the board. And that's what we have to do. Stay focused on what you have to do. That's what I like to do, stay focused. It prepares you for what's coming next. Because you're going to get attacked. You're going to be told what you can't do. You can't win this, you can't do this, you can't get that person, you can't. Well, on my desk, I keep a little sign about can't do with a cross on it. And my thing is, you can do it. But stay focused on what you have to do, stay focused on your goals, and do what's best that you think is best for LSU or the department or the place you're working for. Just do it best. Every day you walk in that office, I'm going to do what's best for this program.
I think it's in your office, or maybe in Kim Mulkey's, or both, there's a sign that says, but that's the way we've always done it. And it's got the Ghostbuster slash through it,
That's
right?
right. Mm-hmm.
We don't think that way.
That's right. There's new ways. You always have to find ways to get better. And like I said, the old motto with Coach Ausberry taught me, you get better or worse. You never say the same every day. Every day is a measuring stick about how we're going to get better. And that's what we talk about in our department. How are we going to get better every day? What we're going to do, it starts with the little things. When I'm walking in the building and I see trash on the ground, I pick it up. The little things. How the building clean? Is your office clean? Or when you walk into an area, is the food the best in the athletic cafeteria? So all the little things that people take for granted, I take for the porch. You know what? It has to be great. It has to be perfect. And that's what the great coaches think. We're talking about the Nick Sabans and those type of coaches, the little things, how the grass is cut, how's the place decorated, how's your office decorated, how things are clean. Those are the things that we look for as a whole in the department when you're trying to make the place better.
Well, Signetti and Saban are two different people, but they're both up 35-0, and they both look like they're down 35-0, right? We don't look at the scoreboard. We don't let the scoreboard influence how we play or how hard we play. It's every play.
And that's where a lot of people make emotional decisions. And you can't make emotional decisions. You know, when we evaluating coaches, people say, oh, you got to fire this coach, you got to fire that coach. And I call it shooting at the hip. Some leagues like to shoot at the hip. Well, no, you don't shoot at the hip. You know, you evaluate, you analyze things, you talk about it. You make sure when you're making these decisions, it's the right decisions for the department and for LSU.
I read a quote the other day that I thought was great. I'd never read it. It said, if you speak when you're angry, you'll make the greatest speech you'll ever regret.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's why, you know, we take our time around here and the decisions we make, and we're going to make what's best for LSU. The other thing we have with that is alignment. You have to have alignment. And alignment starts from the top. You have to have alignment from your board of supervisors. You have to have alignment with your president, alignment with myself as AD, and then alignment with the coaches. And you have to be in line. We might not always agree on something, but when we walk out of that room, we're going to be one.
If you are successful, meaning you make playoff appearances and you win another national title, what does this mean financially? Do you truly get all this money back that you're investing in buyouts of coaches, new coaches, the players, the staff? Do you get it back? What's the difference? And I talked to somebody here at LSU about it, the difference between going 7-5 like you did this year and say you go 10-2 next year and you make a playoff.
It's very beneficial to the institution, and the institution as a whole, not just get it back here, get it back with enrollment. Look what happened at the University of Alabama when Nick Saban got there. They had 25,000 students, now they have 45,000 students. And 70% of their student body is from out of state. That's out of state, that's new money, new dollars going there. So that's how you get it back, Jacques. It's not like, oh, we'll get this much money back just because we won a national championship. Usually when you win national championships, it's become expensive. But you're paying coaches more, you're paying assistant coaches more, you're trying to keep people there. So this is for the overall brand of the institution. Yes, it very much helps the value of the institution. It brings income to the institution. But really, it helps the whole brand of the institution so you can recruit and get better people, get better faculty, get better quality students, get better athletes in the department. You know, when Kim Mulkey walks out there, her brand is so big that wherever she travels, the gym is full. We went to Vanderbilt the other day, and they had more LSU people in Nashville at that game than Vanderbilt people. And after the game, there were so many people wanting Flozier and the rest of the players' autographs. You know, you can't buy that. There's certain things here that we can't buy that winning does for you as a department.
Yeah, absolutely right. So what you're talking about is money that's going into the university that we're not going to see on the athletic audit. But
you might not see an athletic audit. You might see it. You might see fundraising goes up, like I talked about earlier. Corporate sponsorships go up. Season tickets go up. Every sport. Everybody feels happy. It's good for the Baton Rouge economy. It's good for the Louisiana economy. So that's the big picture that when you talk about money coming back, it's just not money coming back to the athletic department. I think we'd be totally fine. The more you win, the better it is for everybody.
Yeah, well, when you played at Alabama this past year at the hotel, I struck up a conversation with a gentleman whose daughter was going to the University of Alabama. I said, where are you from? New Jersey. So it's kind of what you're talking about. Young people want to go where it's happening.
Where it's winning.
Yeah.
People like winning. Young kids like winning. They like great weather. If you look at it, the schools in the South right now, their enrollment is going up. And because, you know, Indiana's enrollment is going to go up. They have the biggest alumni base in the country, 850,000 alumnus. It's going to go up. When you win, there's many parents that tell me their kids might have been going to Ole Miss and other schools, but hold on, wait, Lane Kiffin is here. That's the reason it was going, because the program wins. So it helps the whole institution as a whole. It helps us in fundraising. It helps school pride. When people see their institutions winning on TV, that's a sense of pride, and they want to give and help, no matter what's the price. It could be $5, it could be $5 million. We want people to feel entitled that say, you know what, that's my institution, they're winning, they're on TV, that brand is strong, and we're going to give to help. So many different type of ways they give. People who give to the construction management college here that we're building on campus, the philanthropic fundraising there, that's important. People giving to the library on campus, to build a new library on campus, that's important. When they're building new dorms on campus, and engineering and business, that's important. When the legislators, you know, when they appropriate money, They're happy when LSU is winning. And they want to appropriate more money when the president gets his agenda about where does he want money as priorities to go to the institution. So we're bigger than just a football game or a basketball game. It covers our overall brand of what LSU is. And LSU Athletics is the front porch to the house of that brand. So that's where we are.
There's your Skip Bertman line right there. He used to always say that. It's the front porch of your house. And Kiffin, 50 isn't what it used to be. Like in the 80s, you remember that movie Cocoon? Those old people get in the pool and they were like in their 50s. And now you got Tom Cruise, he's 60s, hanging off an airplane.
Well, right? I'm getting up there too, John, so I'm not going to say 50. I'm older than that.
But Kiffin, he's connecting with young people. They gravitate to them. So for years, football scheduling was what you did. I'm looking at the product now. I mean, next year, your home schedule is dynamite. You're playing a home opener against Clemson. You are hosting Texas A&M. And then you've got back-to-back home games against two of the biggest names in college football, Alabama and Texas. So in this new 9-game SEC, fans are getting what they pay for.
Yes. We have to evaluate that again. The last 3 national champions didn't play a Power 4 program outside of their conference. And going to 9 conference games, that changes the dynamics a lot. So we need to take a look at that and study it. In fact, I just sent it to the SEC Commissioner's Office, talking about, do we really have to play a Power 4 opponent with the 9 conference games now? Do we still need to do that? So we have to give our teams and our conference the advantage to playing in that final championship game. In the last 3 years, we haven't made it to the final game. So something is there with that. When the last 3 national champions didn't play a Power 4 program outside their conference, we need to take a deep look into that as a conference to where we are. So does it make sense to still play the Clemsons, the Ohio States, the Notre Dames, the UCLAs, the USCs? Does that make sense still? So we need to take a look at that as a conference and figure that out. But the home schedule is great. It helps us with the ticket demand, as you say, but we have to also start realizing too, what's going to happen in this new model, and we don't really know. There's a lot of uncertainty to that, to figure out how we want this to look and how we go further with football scheduling.
You don't need to take unnecessary risk, is what
That's
you're saying.
correct. Mm-hmm.
And because you're playing non-conference games now, maybe we don't need to try to appease the fans with a big non-conference team, because we're getting one.
What bottom line is not appeasing the fans, it's appeasing the voters in the CFP, because they're rewarding teams not playing a Power 4. We used to think that you had to play a Power 4 opponent outside your conference to get into the playoffs. Well, that hasn't happened in the highest ranked teams, the number 1 seeds, hadn't had to do that. And like I said, the last 3 national champions didn't do that. So the question is, does that model get us into the national championship picture in the college football playoffs in a different way than playing a Power 4 conference team from another team?
And you still
Power 4 team from another conference, excuse me.
Right. And you still want to play FBS teams from the state. You can sprinkle those in where you play, perhaps you played Southern for the first time a couple years ago. You sold out the stadium. It was a big event. You still want to play the in-state teams, maybe FBS? We
will. We're the flagship institution in Louisiana, but we're going to play all the teams to stay in Louisiana. I think it's very important. We want to keep those funds and those resources in Louisiana to our sister schools. And that's what we want to do. So we will still play all the schools in Louisiana.
When you go to Ole Miss September the 19th, will you need the National Guard or?
I'm taking a Delta Force with me. those guys went to Venezuela the other day. Somebody said we'll take state police. I said no, I'm taking some real guys with me there. It's gonna be a tough place. Hey, that's part of it. Look, we're gonna have fun, and Ole Miss is gonna be secure and gonna be safe. I'm not worried about that. We're also going to Tennessee. Another place that he coached at, so those are 2 hot places. But, that's part of the business we're in today. And Ole Miss and Tennessee, there's going to be safe places, and I'm not worried about that. Hey, the games are played on the field where they need to be played, between the lines, and it's going to be a great environment. There's going to be a lot of publicity on both programs. That game, probably every TV network, press in the country are going to be there.
I don't even know who else is playing that day, but I'm just going to bet that College Game Day is going to be in Oxford on September the 19th.
Ole Miss might have to add some seats for that game.
And you said 2 hot places. I tell you what, you're playing at Tennessee and Arkansas to close out the year, so pack a coat.
Yes.
Who is replacing you? Is anyone replacing you?
We're taking our time on that. Yeah. I want to take my time, step back, figuring out what we're doing with our staff right now and people's duties on the staff as we sit here today. And there comes a point in time where you have to fit the right person, the right fit, and we're not there yet. I'm still doing a lot of it. I've given our staff some things, some responsibilities to do, and they've done a great job. We had a we probably have the best staff here, Jacques, in the country. With athletic administrators, young athletic administrators. We're very good. They know what to do. They've been here a long time, a lot of experience. You look at Julie Cromer, she's been athletic director, very level, very stable in decision making. So we have a great team. And now I have to figure out, things that I want to take off of my plate and share with some of the staff that we have here. But it's a great staff. I'm very confident in all of them. We've been working together for a long time, and I think we'll be okay.
LSU football, honoring players of the past. You just honored Charles Alexander. You retired his jersey. Many fans for years have talked about Kevin Falk, Lynn Dorsey, others need to be honored. You got Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. They're obviously very young people, but when I grew up, we didn't talk about statues, but we talk about statues now. When are they going to get statues? Asia Wilson, the South Carolina player, she's 30 years old. She has a statue outside the arena. So what can you share on that?
We have policies on that, and when we put statues and names in the stadiums and those type of things, and we're going to be doing more here. There's a lot of other great players. As a former player here, a former student athlete, I want to honor the great student athletes who've performed here and been here before, and honor them the right way. And that's the traditions of pulling the past and the present together and letting them know, you had a Shaquille O'Neal who played basketball here at LSU, which a lot of young kids don't realize that until they see a statue over there. You see a Charles Alexander, that one of the great running backs of our time, his name goes up in here this year. And we'll be doing more and more of that. There's a lot of former players here that's earned the right to have their name in that stadium. And we have a review process, and we think we have a very solid review process. Statues are a 10-year period, and we could always, look at that and review that, but it's a 10-year period. And, there's criteria there to have a statue here, and we stick to that criteria. And I think you'll see more and more of that in the future.
Well, and I like the idea of retiring a number, but you don't take it off the roster. In terms
you won't have enough jerseys, you won't have enough numbers.
Right, Florida State painted themselves into a corner.
That's right, you won't have enough numbers to give. I mean, a lot of these young men coming here today and young women, they want this certain number. That's part of the recruiting process. So I think, there's only one jersey that's been taken out of circulation, that's Billy Cannon's, the first Heisman Trophy winner. But we're going to make sure that every number stays active.
What about statues outside the LSU practice facility in the PMAC? You have room for a few more there? I kind of walked by there and I was kind of envisioning how many more you could
Jack,
put up.
You have to meet the criteria.
Yeah.
And the criteria is that you have to do something that's extraordinary. You have to be not only All-American, but you have to be National Player of the Year, championships, what you bring to the institution, what you've done in your career, what you've done in your career when you're here. So you look at statues, there's not many more statues. Heisman Trophy winner statues, National Players of the Year statues, but there's not many of those. Yeah. So we're going to build statues for the right people that have the right criteria who deserves the statues.
LSU men's basketball, you spoke about this about a week ago. Is it truly NCAA tournament or bust for Matt McMahon, or could it, some late season progress change your overall thoughts on him in the future at LSU?
I think it's the overall progress of the program. It's a great win this weekend against Missouri. Matt had been dealt a bad hand. Lost two of his best players. His point guard is out. It was very important. That's your quarterback of your team. I really feel we had the point guard. We'd be 4-1 in the conference right now. Vanderbilt was a tough game on the road, and they're they're a Sweet 16 team. But overall, and we played them well. When I look at the program as a whole, these players hadn't quit. They're playing hard, they're playing tough. It was a tough loss the other night against Kentucky. 1 point loss, you end the game, you lose it with 1 second left. But you bounce back against Missouri, which is a very good basketball team. He has Florida coming up, he has some tough games coming up. And we just want to see and take a step back and evaluate it. Where are we? And that's going to be a decision where, Dr. Roos and myself and our team will get together and just evaluate the process and assess the process, where we are and where we are as a program. So, we're not rushing anything. This is Matt's team. People say, we make a mid-year decision. No, it's not going to be that way. Matt's our head coach, and he's going to be our head coach, and this is his team.
I know you're going to tell me, of course, LSU, we care about men's basketball. Some fans have questioned how much LSU cares about men's basketball. Is LSU making the proper investment in men's basketball?
I think we are. We're making a proper investment in every sport. When I was a player here, Dale Brown went to the NCAAs every year. 11 to 12 straight years with the NCAA. John Brady took a team of Louisiana kids right here from Baton Rouge area and made it to the Final Four. Will Wade did a great job. Trent Johnson did a great job. So basketball is a priority. We look at our sports as the major priorities. You got football. Like I tell people, football has to win. You have men's basketball that makes a profit. You have baseball. You have and women's basketball. Those are the big four sports. So yes, basketball is something that we really try to invest in to be the best. And we want to win in basketball. And you should win here at basketball. LSU basketball should be good, and that's what we expect.
Only two sports here make money, right? That's football and men's basketball.
It's a problem. Mm-hmm.
Some people can't understand. They look at women's basketball. They pack the house. They win big, but the bottom line is the bottom line. But back to what you said earlier, when Mulkey's making deep runs in the tournament every year, that's free advertising for your school and makes you look good.
The big thing, you're making money. I tell people, everybody said, well, the place is full. Gymnastics, the place is full. And look, they do make money. It's just not enough to offset everything we put into the program. But you got to remember, they don't have the big TV contracts. Yeah. And the TV contracts are the one that drives the money. Football, big TV contracts. Basketball, big TV contracts. And you watching the NCAA tournament and the Final Four, that's where that money is driven from. Baseball. And baseball breaks about even, that's a win. Okay? You went up on the coaches' salaries, they win national championships. We want them to be the best. Jay Johnson is the best. Jay Johnson is one of the best baseball coaches there is, and we want Jay to be here a long, long time, be our coach. And he has a chance to surpass what Skip Bertman did here as a baseball coach. And so we support all our coaches. It's very expensive to run the department, but there's other things than just say the rate of return on those programs and what it does for our whole enterprise. Like I said before, what it does for the whole brand, what Kim Mulkey does for the whole brand of LSU, and how many students and young women around the country watch Angel Reese, Floje, and those people and say, you know what, I want to be a part of that. And when I see all those students attending the LSU women's basketball game, when I see all those people attending, those little girls, LSU gymnastics, that's all the feeders to people that say, you know what, when I grow up, I'm coming to LSU.
LSU baseball. So I've heard Jay Johnson get up in front of people and say, I wouldn't leave LSU for the New York Yankees. I don't want it. But you can't take him for granted at the same time, right? Can't assume he'll be here. I've heard about NIL support for baseball. What does LSU need to do in that regard to make sure? I mean, Jay's winning, so people assume everything is great. 2 national championships in 3 years. It is great. But you still need to support him properly, right?
Oh, we do. Whatever Jay needs, we support. And you heard Jay also say that when he and I are talking, our conversations, at the end of the conversation with every coach, how can I help you? How can I help you be better? How can I help your program? What do you need to stay at the top? Because every year, when you're at LSU, Jacques, you're being hunted. We're the hunted, okay? Everybody wants to be LSU. Let's be honest. Out there, this is one of the great programs, one of the great institutions, especially in the SEC. So every day we wake up, when you walk in there with an LSU uniform, somebody is getting closer and closer to beat you. So yes, Jay Johnson is one of those coaches, just like all the coaches. We're here to support them, to give them what they need, the resources. And like I said, I'll stay out your way. Coach, what do you need to be successful? And, Jay doesn't have any complaints. And like I said, I want Jay to be here. He's much younger than me, a long, long time. I want him to have a 25, 30-year career at LSU. I think you'll see more and more national championships coming from that program.
2 national championships, the guy's not even 50 yet, right? I mean, and LSU's never won 3 national championships in 4 years. which is what they're going for this year.
There's a good chance. Keep your fingers crossed.
All right, and finally, this arena, this proposed arena that they're supposed to build on the old LSU golf course. Kim Mulkey's joked that her feet might be in the sand by the time the thing's built. I don't know. Hopefully it will be built and she'll coach in it. But is there anything new you can share on that?
You know, we're looking at it in all possible ways. You got to remember, we're all new here. President Roos just came on. I just came on. The new CEO of Oakview just came on. And so we're going to all get back together here with all of our partners. There'll be more public-private partnerships here. And that's the way we got to move in the future. You know, you're talking about how the resources come. There'll be more and more public-private partnerships to get these things done and get these things built. So we're dealing with this private partner right now, trying to get the arena off the ground. It's a priority for us. It's something that we want to do, something that we need to do. We need a great arena in here, not only for our athletic programs, but for the city also. It could bring and attract more things for people to do in the Baton Rouge region, concerts, shows, things of that nature that we'd like to have here on campus. So that's something we're going to look at. It has to make financial sense for everybody. Tiger Athletic Foundation is a big part of this also. It makes financial sense for all of us. That's something that we want to definitely do here at LSU.
Did you ever go to a concert at the PMAC when you were a
lot of concerts. I really enjoyed it. When I was here, I remember Tina Turner came to LSU, and Cameo, and a lot of different artists came to that PMAC across the street. So that's something that we need to bring back here on campus. It'd be also a front porch for our students on campus. You know, you drive around college campuses around the country, there's always an entrance part. You know, it's places, nice places for students to go. We really don't have that around our campus that we need to do. And that'd be one of those areas where we could build around, and investors would come in, private investors, and build up that area and make it almost like a front porch style institution.
Verge Ausberry, LSU Athletic Director, thanks so much.
Thank you, John.
Great talking to you today.
Too.
And thanks for stopping by. Jacques Talk and WAFB. We'll see you later.